Hello, everybody. What's up? Welcome to Double Vision. I'm Logan Graffia.
I'm Trey Johnson.
All right, y'all, let's get into it. A lot of things have been happening this past week or during the week with the NBA. The draft just happened a couple days ago, and a lot of players kind of dropped where I didn't see it coming. But what draft pick surprised you the most?
Honestly, I was surprised that Michael Porter fell as far as he did, but I think he might be the steal of the draft. I mean, he went to a good team in Denver. They got some good leadership with Paul Millsap. Wilson Chandler decides to stay on board with them. He has a lot of people to look up to. I don't think it's really a rush for him, be that impact player.
Right. I thought he was actually, because of all the injury issues that the teams was having, I thought he would have slid even further, but I was actually happy that he got picked where he was picked at, because Denver's got a lot of young talent. They got Murray, and they got Barton's a free agent, but he might resign with them. And I mean, they got a good little young support cast. He's going to fit in there well. I just hope he could start at the start of the regular season, but he'll get back. The one that surprised me the most that you pointed out to me earlier was LiAngelo Ball not getting drafted at all.
Yeah, man, it was a surprise to me. I mean, I understand, with his father and everything, people were kind of not wanting to touch him or anything like that. But when you look at some of the guys that got picked up in this draft, I think he could battle with those guys. For him to not even get drafted, and now hearing he won't even be on the summer league team, I mean, it's kind of crazy to me. I would have liked to see him at least try to compete, get a chance to be in the NBA. But he still has time.
The two picks I was quite happy about was local players such as Melvin Frazier from Tulane, and then you have Mitchell Robinson, who was from Chalmette High, who didn't go to college, but he still got drafted. They got drafted back-to-back, which I thought was pretty cool. Of course, I wanted Melvin Frazier to get drafted to the Pelicans, but that didn't happen. But I'm really happy that two local guys like that got drafted. I mean, Frazier's probably going to make an impact right away for the Magic, and Mitchell Robinson got drafted to the Knicks. Now, he might not get into the lineup right away. He might have to be in the G League team because, I mean, he didn't go to college and everything, but I think he could still get some good minutes in there.
I think Mitchell Robinson might be able to make an impact. He's kind of one of those, fly around athletic guys.
He's tall, too.
Coach Fizdale loves those type of guys, and he can kind of get some playing time while they try to wait on Porzingis to come back.
Right.
Melvin Frazier, he's going to be playing for Orlando Magic. I know they got a lot of young pieces, especially at his position, but, I think he can compete really well, probably make an impact early. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Now, the Pelicans pick I questioned because, I mean, you already know how I felt about it because I talked to you about this the other day. The Pelicans drafted Tony Carr, point guard out of Penn State. Now, why would they draft a point guard when the small forward position is such a vital need for them right now? They're weak at that position.
I had some of the same questions you had. What I think I could think of was, at the time, it wasn't really too many high-end small forwards. The draft was just kind of weak at that position this year. So maybe they kind of want a veteran guy that can come in to a championship caliber team, and so they don't really have to mold them. Tony Carr, watched some of his film at Penn State, saw him a little bit in the NIT. He can shoot the three ball well. He has some bounce off the dribble, so he can be good. I don't think he's going to make an impact right away, seeing that we're crowded at the point guard position down in New Orleans. But give him some time in the G League. I think he can develop into somebody that can really impact the team for the future.
Agreed. Now they had some other top picks, like in the top 5. Trae Young got traded to the Hawks, and they had two other first-round picks, if I'm not mistaken. How do you feel they're doing building the team-wise? Because, I mean, Schroeder doesn't want to be there. He wants to go to another – he wants to either get traded or cut. But, I mean, the way things are going, he might want to stay around because Trae Young's young, and those other 2 draft picks they got coming in, they might gel together and make something.
Well, I think the Hawks are still in that rebuilding stage, and a guy like Dennis Schroeder, who's still in his prime, he kind of wants to be on a winning team, so can't fault him for that. They also drafted Jalen Brunson in the second round, so I think they're trying to make that move to know that Dennis doesn't want to be there any longer. They might be trying to ship him out, so maybe trade him for another young piece that can come in and help their team through that rebuilding stage. To be honest with you, I think they made a mistake not drafting Luka Doncic. I mean,
I love him.
He's just someone that can play multiple positions. He doesn't necessarily have to play guard. He can play forward as well. In this league, he can go from 1 through 4. So he's somebody, an impact player that I don't think you really give up. And him and Trae Young, they'll probably be linked for the rest of their careers because they got traded for one another. So.
Well, I think Luka is going to do fine because he's going to be learning from a Hall of Famer, first ballot, in my opinion, Dirk Nowitzki. Mm-hmm. So I think he'll do fine. But aside from the draft, free agency is coming up in a few weeks. And one player that's going to be on the market now, because he just got bought out with the Nets, is Dwight Howard. He's going to be on a new team. Mm-hmm. And the team, there's several teams linked to him, but one that I'm actually surprised that is actually linked to him is, shockingly, my New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah, I did hear that.
Well, because, there's been questions of, is DeMarcus Cousins coming back? Mm-hmm. Or are they going to have enough money to even throw at him? Because, they still want to re-sign Rondo. And they, of course, want to re-sign all their support cast from last season. But if we do re-sign DeMarcus Cousins, Dwight Howard's still available. I think he can still give us vital minutes. Do you think, even with DeMarcus Cousins re-signing with the Pelicans, that Dwight Howard has a chance at signing with the Pelicans, or no?
I think there's no chance that Dwight Howard signs with the Pelicans, and it's not because it wouldn't really be a good look for the team. I just think it doesn't fit him well. Obviously, we have to come off the bench if Boogie resigns, and I also don't think the Pelicans are in a position to kind of wait it out, because by the time Boogie does resign, Dwight Howard might be off the board. And he gave the Hornets 16 and 13 last year. So,
double-double.
Yeah, so, he's still a good player. I think right now in his career he's trying to be a piece for a championship team. So maybe Boston. I've been hearing him being linked to Golden State, but I think that's just comical.
Everybody's always linked to Golden State.
Yeah, but Boston, I think San Antonio might take a look at him once they get some of their issues figured out. Hopefully, if LeBron stays in Cleveland, that would be a good look for him too. But
that's actually not a bad fit. But Dwight Howard, I feel, can make an impact on somebody's team looking for a veteran, a veteran big man. Because like you said, he averaged a double-double last season with the Charlotte Hornets, which I honestly don't understand why they traded him for somebody like Timothy Mozgov. Because Timothy Mozgov, he's a bench player. He's kind of like that six-man role coming off the bench, but it's just questionable why the front office, like Jordan and Kunstrup, would do that. But we'll see where he goes. But the one thing that everybody's wondering, where is LeBron going to sign? Is he going to stay? And also, where is Kawhi getting traded or not? I think LeBron's kind of waiting what Kawhi is going to do. But what's going to happen, you think?
Okay, well, first with LeBron, I think it's one of those things that it depends on what happens around the league, whether he stays in Cleveland or not. The Lakers are clearly the favorites to sign him, but it's not so sure if Paul George is going to re-sign with the Lakers or if he's going to go to the Oklahoma City Thunder again. My guess is that he'll stay in OKC. You don't leave a player like Russ and to go to a team like LA that has so many questions going on in their organization. Also with Kawhi, the Spurs have maintained that they aren't rushing to trade him. So he might be on the roster long term. So LeBron's just kind of looking at it like, hey, I don't want to go to Los Angeles by myself. Even though they have some young pieces like Lonzo, Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, I don't think those guys are ready to contribute to a championship team as of yet. So I can honestly see him opting in, staying in Cleveland for another year, playing with that young bull, Colin Sexton from Alabama.
Oh, yeah, love him. That was the only player I could see Cleveland drafting was Colin Sexton. I couldn't really see them drafting aside from Colin Sexton, I could see them drafting Trae Young, but that didn't happen. But when Sexton fell to them, I'm like, okay, that fits perfectly. Because, you got a young bull, like you said. He drives to the goal aggressively. He's got to work on his shooting a little bit, but he's a drive to the goal first point guard, which I like a lot. So
yeah, I think them drafting Colin Sexton kind of showed that they're confident that LeBron's going to resign with him.
Right.
I kind of thought they were going to go Michael Porter Jr. just somebody to build around the future for. But it'll be interesting to see where LeBron goes.
Right. Well, let's move on from the NBA. Let's get into some NFL stuff. Training camps, just like the NBA with the free agency next month, NFL training camp is in July, coming up in a few weeks. And there's news that just broke out. Jameis Winston's getting suspended for 3 games. How do you feel that's going to impact the Bucs going into training camp? How's that going to affect them going into training camp? And also, how is that going to impact how that takes a toll on Ryan Fitzpatrick? Because he's going to have to take the starting reps.
Yeah, Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's a veteran guy. He's been a starter in this league. I know they're losing week 1 against the Saints, but I mean that's a chance. It's a chance they can win the next couple of games. It's just kind of hard seeing Jameis getting suspended. He's had these issues since college, coming into the NFL, so you're hoping he gets his act right, seeing that he's in the last year of his rookie contract. If you want to be a quarterback in this league and make the big bucks, you got to kind of have a maturity level.
Right. They say the incident happened in 2016 with an Uber driver. He groped an Uber driver, and now they're going to suspend him for 3 games, and it can increase depending on what the NFL decides. But yeah, in my opinion, he does have to get his act right. I actually like him as a quarterback. He's getting there. He's getting up there. He's always showing signs of being good, which I like. I liked him at Florida State because, of course, they was in the championship and they won and whatnot. But if he gets his act right, because I feel like he'll be a lot better. Because the Bucs is on the rise. Even though they're the Saints' rival, I still feel like they're going to be on the rise and give us a run for our money eventually, but not this upcoming season, hopefully. But also, there's a big-name free agent still out there, and I think you know who I'm talking about, and that's Dez Bryant.
Yes, man.
Why is he not signed yet? Is it because they say it's because he might have issues in the locker room in the past, but I don't know if that's necessarily true. But what team do you think would be perfect to sign him? I know there's several, but which one?
It wouldn't be nice to see him play with Aaron Rodgers down in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is one of probably the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
He can make somebody working at a grocery store a Hall of Famer, so it would be nice to see Dez play with him. It would have been nice to see him sign with the Ravens. They tried to give him a long-term deal, but he felt like he wanted to do a 1-year thing so he can still play, get a bigger contract next offseason. Sometimes you just got to play the market, and I don't think he played the market well. And right now he's sitting at home waiting for a job.
Right. I'm going to surprise you with the team I think he should actually sign with because they're on the come-up because I like all the young pieces they got. The 49ers.
You gotta give me some detail about that, man.
The 49ers, they got Jimmy Garoppolo. They got Jerick McKinnon at running back now. They have Pierre Garçon, right? In that defense, they drafted a few pieces. Reuben Foster has been in trouble in the offseason, but he was cleared of that, of course.
Yeah.
So he gives Jimmy Garoppolo another weapon. I really think the 49ers could even be even better because they have other weapons. They have youngins like Marcus Goodwin. They got Trent Taylor, and they got Brent Selleck at tight end, and they got George Kittle at tight end too. Yeah. So Dez Bryant fitting into that offense with Kyle Shanahan, I think that could be really good. But what player do you think will stand out the most, whatever team, in training camp this summer?
I honestly think Lamar Jackson is going to stand out. Joe Flacco seems to be on his way out in Baltimore, so there's going to be a lot of that going on in season. So I kind of want to see that battle between Lamar Jackson and Joe Flacco. I hope it's not really a lot of resentment. I hope he can actually teach Lamar Jackson a little bit things about this league, but he's the most intriguing player, former Heisman winner.
That was actually who I was going to go with too, because Lamar Jackson, he almost dropped out of the first round. If it wasn't for the Ravens trading up into the first round at number 32 to pick him, he probably would have had to wait till day 2 to get drafted, which would have really sucked. But I really liked him going into training camp because you got to remember it's Joe Flacco, Lamar Jackson, and also Robert Griffin III.
That's true.
So he has 2 veteran guys that he could learn about the league from. But eventually, I feel like he will wind up taking the starting job some point into this season. I really do. Because, you got to remember, Joe Flacco, he has a Super Bowl ring, but he has not really been a Pro Bowl type of quarterback. He's been good, don't get me wrong, but he's not like legendary level, if you know what I'm talking about. He's on the kind of like the same level. Like when he won that Super Bowl, it kind of reminded me like when the Ravens first won the Super Bowl. They had Trent Dilfer. And he wasn't really a Pro Bowl quarterback, but he got him there because he fit in there. So I think Lamar Jackson stands out to me the most, like you said. I really think he might take a starting job eventually. He's got to pick it up like that because he's young and he's got everything going against him. Oh, he didn't go under center. He's a read option quarterback. All he does is run, but that's not necessarily the case because he could throw the ball too. He can sling it. But something else that's going to be happening in the NFL this season, Drew Brees is going to break the passing yards record. You give him a few games, I think he's going to break it.
It's a high possibility the way New Orleans plays football, especially with Mark Ingram being out the first 4 games. They're going to rely on Drew Brees a lot, just to kind of take that load off of Alvin Kamara. So you might see him fling that thing about 35, 40 times first few games. So.
Well, you never know. I hope he doesn't have to throw it 40-something times a game. I really hope Kamara could take the load off of him, but we'll see what happens. I mean, him being the passing yards leader, because, I mean, I really still feel like Breeze is an underrated quarterback because he doesn't really get all the recognition that, like, kind of like Peyton Manning did, or not even Tom Brady, and even Aaron Rodgers does. He kind of gets thrown under the radar because I feel like playing for a team in New Orleans is kind of makes you be underrated because they call us a small market team. We play in a small market, but I don't really think that's necessarily the case. What do you feel?
I think a lot of it has to do with like guys like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers. We've only really seen them play with one or two teams in their career. Tom Brady has been with Bill Belichick, Aaron Rodgers with Green Bay. Peyton was with the coach for a long time and then still kind of played at a high level in Denver. We actually kind of saw what Drew Brees was early in his career at San Diego, was just kind of, a game-managing quarterback, handing it off to LT, occasionally throwing to Antonio Gates. And then, he gets to New Orleans and Sean Payton just works miracles. And this guy runs an explosive offense and has been for like the last 12 years. And, seeing what he was early in his career, I think kind of people, they just respect the system and not the quarterback in the system. I think he's just as important of making New Orleans a dynamic offense as the system is. So, at the end of the day, I think he's going to earn his respect. I'm not sure if he'll be first ballot. He should be, most definitely. But I think in the long run, he'll earn his respect.
I certainly hope so. I really agree with you. I think he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, he definitely deserves it. He might not have all the rings Tom Brady does, or Peyton Manning even has more than him. Mm-hmm. But I really think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, even Terrell Owens is. So, moving on. We're going into baseball now. We're going to knock it out the park. So, a few teams that's the season's underway. Teams that are at the top right now include the Yankees and the Indians of the American League, and then you got the Brewers and the Cubs of the National League. But another team that's also standing out is the Astros again. Could they be on the road to a two-peat? Could they go to the World Series and win it again?
Man, it's a high possibility, man. Those guys are good. They're young, they're hungry, and they're not just selling on that one championship. I mean, me being a long-time Yankees fan, I love those baby bombers, man. So I hope they pull it out this year. But, Houston, man, they got a nice squad.
Well, you a Yankees fan. I'm an Indians fan. So last season, I wasn't too happy with how your Yankees really beat my Indians. So we'll see how everything goes because the Indians have a good young crew, I think. They have Lindor. Brendan Lindor is awesome. He's amazing. He knocks it out the park a lot. But on your team, y'all have a lot of young players.
Yes,
y'all have a person by the name of Aaron Judge.
All rise.
Aaron Judge is, I think he's one of the best in the MLB right now. I really think so. He's up there. I mean, for somebody to be 6'8", or basically he's tight end size.
Yes,
he's basically tight end size. So he should be, but he's playing baseball. But the teams like that, do you really feel like what team, aside from the Astros and the other teams that I've named, do you feel like has a legit shot at the World Series this year?
Man, I love Bryce Harper, man. I love watching the Nationals, and I really hope they're kind of in title contention this year because he's just a fun player to watch, and he's somebody you would love to see, doing this thing in October. So I really hope they kind of get everything together down there.
I think, actually, I'm not happy saying this because, of course, I just said I'm an Indians fan, but I really think the Astros could make a two-peat. I really think they could go back and maybe not necessarily win, but I think they can actually go back and make some noise. Well, with the time that we have left, I want to just mention something. It's going to be a little bit of hockey. The NHL 19 cover athlete was just announced, and it's PK Subban. He actually is the hockey player that got me into hockey because I started watching hockey last season. I didn't really have a team, didn't have a dog in no fight when it came down to the Stanley Cup. But he actually put me on the hockey because, he's very good. Yeah. But they actually said he's the first black hockey athlete to grace the cover. Now that's a real big deal. What do you feel?
It is a big deal. Just like you, I wasn't always the biggest hockey fan.
Right.
I'm a Pittsburgh Penguins fan at heart. But I love watching PK do his thing. There's not too many people, minorities, African Americans in the sport. So for him to do the things he does with all the adversity he faces in that sport, it's really fun to see. And I'm glad, he got the opportunity to be the cover athlete. That just shows how much his peers respect him
Right.
and how much he's really making an impact on the game.
Right. PK Subban, I feel like is going to continue the rise in stardom. I mean, he's already a star in my opinion, but I think he's going to at least be one of those names that you just say when you say the word hockey, you think PK Subban. Just like right now, you think when you say hockey, you think of Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah.
I think he'll be in the running for. I think he's just going to be one of those names that you just remember for a long time. But now, since we're on hockey, I just want to ask one question. Can Vegas rebound after that literally just devastating Stanley Cup loss?
I think they can rebound. I mean, to do the things they did as an expansion team their first year was just remarkable. And, you know, there's a lot of teams I think are going to bounce back. Chicago Blackhawks, LA Kings. So, you know, it's not going to be an easy race for them. But I think, you know, they have the people in the group together that they can still make some noise.
Well, the thing is, I actually became a hockey fan this season, and I actually became a fan of the Vegas Golden Knights because, one, they're a new team, and I don't want to just hop on a bandwagon of another team because I'm not that type of person. So I really hope Vegas can rebound because they have a lot of good players. Like Fleury, of course, they say was the best goalie in there, but in my opinion, I don't want to say he choked in the big game, but the Capitals scored a lot. And that didn't look good on the national stage. But I think they could rebound. I think they could make it back. I hope so. Well, that's all the time we have for Double Vision. I appreciate everybody watching. Thank you. We'll see you next time. I'm Logan Graffield.
Now I'm Trey Johnson.
See you next time.
Precious life, your